What is going on, everybody? Jason, the train freak here. It's been a minute since I've done a live. I want to say it's probably, Wednesday last week? So today is Monday, August the 19th. And we had storms come through last night, so the temperature has cooled off quite a bit. Right now, no train action, but that's okay. Maybe something will come by, who knows? Let's see who all we got in the chat. We got Derail Darrell, channel member, saying cookie. So what's going on, Darrell? We got Glendale Railfanning, French toast, siren, and sirens more. So welcome. Hope you are doing good. We got Lynn McCurdy and the HDMMRC, also a channel member here in the house. We got Kyle Stevens here. We got Joe Rader, another channel member, is in the house. Lynn's talking about his coffee. Lynn's also asking me what's for lunch. I had a couple of cold cut sandwiches, so nothing impressive. I ate those back in the office. Samuel Souza is here, so welcome, Samuel. Who else we got? And Kyle is wondering where I was at because it's a couple minutes late. Yeah, I'm late to my own live. I know, right? We got Hot Dog Pilot Andy in the house. Welcome, Andy. And let's see, anyone else here? Jack, no train action. Well, you missed Union Pacific running Jack speed last Wednesday. So you have to go and catch the last live stream where you could watch some locomotives running at Jack speed before they stopped. Willow Creek Industrial Spur, welcome. And we do have the Colonel, that's right. And we got Manshed Railroad. What's going on, Aaron? And I'm caught up to the chat. How about that? I hope you all had a great weekend. Mine was not too terrible. Did a little bit of work on the layout. Got the double crossover, got all the ties on it glued in. Even got it installed on the layout. The only thing I've got to do is get the tortoise switch machines connected to the throw bars and got to wire it up and it'll be good to go. So I did that. Also did a little bit of painting on the layout too and cleaning up the trainer. I was hoping that Flying Crow was going to be able to come down this upcoming weekend for the Central Arkansas Train Show, but he's had some stuff come up to where he is not able to come up this weekend, so we will be missing out on having a crow hanging out with the freak. So things come up, things happen, it is what it is. So I'm going to be checking back periodically just to kind of see if we got any trains, whatnot coming by. Digger, Evans Model Railway. What's going on, Digger? And Jack is saying, please don't say anything about cleaning a train room because Jack held a cleaning contest a few years ago, and I ended up winning that contest. And he ended up giving me my first Skeltrains locomotive in that contest. So, you're welcome, Jack. All right, let's see who else we got here. Looks like we got Dwight Kerley, another channel member, has popped in. So, welcome, Dwight. So, now that I got a few channel members in here, I don't know if you saw my post on the community, on the members only page. I got my bowling alley kit from Walters that I pre-ordered. Oh God, that was what, back in January, February I pre-ordered that sucker. But it finally came in, and I sent a logo of what is going to be on the bowling alley. And so, channel members, you have the opportunity to suggest names just like you did for the Sawmeat. So, but I gave you the logo so that way you knew what to work with. So, no holds barred. All right, looks like we got someone else popped in, or I thought someone else popped in. Yeah, we did have someone else pop in. Howdy ho, everyone. Steve Childers is in the house. What's going on, Steve? Now, for those who don't know, Steve is live every Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I believe that's right. Yeah, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you go check Steve out. Sometimes I try to be live on his stream with him and C&EI John, and sometimes Lynn's on there too. I won't be able to be live this Friday because I will actually be in Conway in the process of setting up for the train show. So just give you a heads up, Steve, on that one. Let's see here. Got a lot of people saying hi to a lot of people. No holds bar bowling alley. No, Lynn. No. I didn't give you the name of the bowling alley. You got to come up with the name based on the logo that you see in the post. So, for those that are not channel members, you will not be able to see that post. It's in the members only thread. So, and before my phone dies, I better hook up the battery because I just got a notification that my phone is about to die. So, let me do that real quick. Just a second. Got shaky cam. There we go. And we got Grant Perrell's JD in the house. What's going on? So I share with you everything that I did over the weekend. Steve says, I don't need no stinking logo. Oh, you're going to want to see this logo. I'll put it this way. It involves 1 bowling pin and 2 bowling balls. Just going to leave it at that. So you can use your mind. Come on, Lynn. That victory lanes. I want creative. Creative. And you can post that in the comment on the members thing, because whatever comments I get there, I'll let Miss Freak pick some out, and then the higher level channel members get to pick the winning one. All right, the full tackle. Tackle and bowling. So, and Lynn's clarifying that he's just joking, which I figured he probably was. Yeah, balls and pins. There you go. That's pretty decent. And Dwight is driving, so Dwight, no texting and driving, man. That's not. Now, if you stopped at a red light just to say I'm driving, that's not bad. So, swinging pin bowling. And just to add on another kicker, the bowling alley is going to be placed in the town of Wiener, Arkansas. So, there you have it. I've got a couple of corner businesses I'm going to take out, and I had some, houses. I decided I'm going to take those out too, and we're going to put the parking lot on the back side of the building, so those houses will go elsewhere. All right, still nothing. All right, good, Dwight. I'm glad to know that you are not texting and driving, because that is not safe. So I try not to do it myself. So how was everybody's weekend? What all did you work on your layout? I still got names being submitted for the new bowling alley. So, channel members, if you like some of these names that are being submitted, hey, you could throw it on the post. So there you go. Too hot here to do much. It's been yesterday. It was brutal, and then last night we had some storms come through, and so it's not bad today. My truck is reading 82 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Yesterday, I believe it got up to like 102, 103. So it was pretty brutal yesterday. Of course, with the high dew point, so it just felt like you were in a steam pot. CPKC Railroad, welcome. And we got Mom and Son Train Rail Fans. Tammy and Ray is in the house. Welcome. Dwight's been working on the Uncle Digger cabin. CPKC saying y'all are going to be jealous what I bought off of eBay. Well, what did you get? And we'll see if we're jealous or not. Joe Rader saying he visited Georgia Sunbelt, installed a new decoder. And speaking of decoder, Joe ended up getting that decoder from Train Freak Hobbies. So, where the service is the best in the community. JD is saying in Dallas would be, DFW area would be what? Northeast Texas? So, Northeast Texas, 97 now, hit 105 yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, you're experiencing that same heat that we got. Willow Creek worked on scenery and did YouTube update and put up some photos under Brad Coleman in the group. Okay. So, yeah, definitely have been putting up some really, really good photos for sure. And I am in the process of getting episode 5 together. I'm wanting to. So speaking of rail yard tagging, for those who don't know what it is, it's a variety show for model railroaders by model railroaders. I got the idea from a fellow YouTuber who recently passed away, and that was Roy Smith. He used to have a show on his called Dispatch, and so I plan on doing some type of tribute to Roy in that next episode. So it's going to take me a minute to get everything worked together, but I will have that. And I've also been in talks with his son Mike as well. So for those who don't know, N-Scale Union Pacific Edison Subdivision, also known as Roy Smith, very big in the community. Passed away the other Friday night, something like that. So huge loss to our community for sure. And my thoughts and prayers definitely go out to his family. For those who also don't know, Roy lost his wife, Lenore, just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm sure he is gone to be with her. All right, catching back up in the chat. Hot Dog Andy Pilot worked on a GS4. Worked on the fan and the smoke unit of a GS4. Is that a Southern Pacific 4449 by chance? Just curious. And let's see here. Lynn is saying we're having a slight cooling trend down from the hundreds to the upper 90s. No humidity. I will take that dry heat over this crap heat any day. Let's see here. Lynn is also saying over the weekend from my throttle, been missing 2 weeks, picked up a third shelf stand and will use for paint and supply. Okay. Grandpa Rail. Oh, man, the chat just jumped on me. Okay, so Grandpa Rail saying I took down part of my layout as I am raising it up to 48-inch high tables. Okay. And Dwight has a question. So, ask away, Dwight. Just be careful that when you ask in the community a question related to model railroading on how you do something, you will get 10 different responses from 10 different people, and all 10 responses are correct. So, And Hot Dog Pilot Andy is saying that it is a SP 4449. So, Andy, if you ever come to the States, you can go and see that locomotive up in Oregon. So, Thomas ended up buying an antique 1888 Rio Grande Southern Railroad spike. I would hate to know how much money you gave for that thing. And we have A and C Railroad, a in-scale and life journey, also known as Eric, is in the house. What is going on, Eric? And I got a few people saying hi to Eric. And then Lynn saying 10 replies from 9 people. Yep, that too. What temperature should I have my soldering iron at when doing my Dakota Buddy? Just enough to get the solder to melt. That's all you got to do. There is no specific temperature, on what you're soldering. It's whatever melts the solder. Just make sure that you use some type of flux. So, $12. That ain't terrible. I was going to expect a little more for that. Dwight, I believe you. You ain't got to express yourself. We know you're driving, but we also know you're stop and go too. And hopefully, we all know that you would have the common sense to pull off to the side of the road if you weren't at a stop. Oh, well, how about that? Double check with my husband, and we could do a fifth wheel with a 50 amp hookup. How about that? That'll work. That is something that I could definitely talk the family and discuss and maybe plan for either next year or the year after, just depending on what we got going on. We're actually looking at wanting to trade it in for something just a little small. I would be happy with a 32-foot fifth wheel. 40 foot, it's just a little too. Well, there you go, Dwight. That's even better. Sitting in an alley at a stop sign. So the RGS, the Rio Grande Southern Railroad spike, is 5.5 inches long, and it's narrow gauge. I have ridden on 2 of the scenic railroads that were formerly part of the RGS. That is the Durango and Silverton, and the other being the Cumbres and Toltec. But whether it was narrow gauge, standard gauge, or broad gauge, a railroad spike, they're all the same size, roughly. There's some minor differences, but there's no railroad spike that is specifically for narrow gauge or specifically for broad gauge. Railroad spikes are railroad spikes. So, all right. Still nothing. So, it might be a strikeout day. We don't know. It seems a lot lately, railroad traffic has slowed down. I have not been seeing near as many trains that I normally do see. So, all right, Dwight, now you got to pull off the side of the road again if you're not in that alley. JD wants to know, why are you in an alley? Alleys are up to bad news. Probably doing something you shouldn't be doing. Double-headed, okay. So you sure that wasn't used for a dual gauge? Like a dual gauge track? Because they did have dual gauge in some areas as well. So for those who don't know what dual gauge is, that is where you have track that has 3 rails, but the third rail is not in the dead center like 3-rail line L track. You would be able to use 1 rail specifically for any gauge, and then it had 2 rails on this side. The inside rail was for narrow gauge, and the outside rail was for standard. And a narrow gauge, if the yard is even narrow gauge, but dual gauge, If the yard was dual gauge with dual gauge turnouts, a narrow gauge locomotive could move a standard gauge boxcar and vice versa. So, Eric, we all want to know what Dwight is up to. You know, his shenanigans, man. Especially knowing that his shenanigans are happening at CVS pharmacies. All right. So, anybody else have anything exciting going on? I mean, I got a train show this upcoming weekend. I know Manshed or Aaron's going to plan to be there. For those who were in the, I don't know, how far would you drive to go to a train show? You know, that's a good question. The farthest I've driven is 3.5 hour drive one way, and then I ended up going home the same day. So how far is too far to go to a train show? We got one this weekend, Central Arkansas Train Show. From my understanding, last year we had 88 vendors. This year, I think there's a few more. He has sold 270 8-foot tables, and 240 of those are for vendors for sales. So that I do know. And we got Martin Siersma. The closest dual gauge railroad is in South America. I believe it. And now Dwight is doing his shenanigans at Aldi's. He can't find a parking lot. I don't like going to an overcrowded. I think he meant I can't find a parking spot. I think he found the parking lot. I just don't think he found the spot. Yep, Aaron says he can't wait till this weekend. He only lives 5 minutes away, so I'm about an extra 40 minutes. It takes me about 45 minutes to get there. And thankfully, it's on the east side of Conway. Otherwise, me having to go through Conway, it would take me even longer. So, Kyle's saying my closest shows are about 2.5 hours away, sometimes good and sometimes nothing much there. Yeah, I've been to a couple of train shows where there's not been a selection for HO scale. There was a good selection for N scale. So, you know, people like, you know, Ron's Trains and Things, Jimmy over at DIY Digital, Heath over at Humanity Junction. Trying to think who else is big in the N scale. You know, Vinny, Cousin Vinny would be another one. People like them, it would have been a great show for them. And people like me, there was nothing there. So I've been to a few of those shows. Hey, we got Russ's Rockin' O and HO Trains and Stuff. What is going on? And Joe is saying he's got to wait till October for the next Timonium. Wow, that was loud. I don't know, something loud in the area happening. All right, let's see here. So Thomas is saying when he was in Birmingham, Alabama, he saw 5 BNSF trains. And that is because BNSF does go to Birmingham. That is part of the old Frisco or the St. Louis, San Francisco route. That is also, it goes from Birmingham to Memphis, Tennessee. Yep, JD is saying Conway is about 6 hours from them. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a haul. I could see that, definitely. Let's see here. And speaking of N-scalers, we've got Humanity Junction in the house. So, what's up to you? And hello, fellow model citizen. Or that's what he says. See? model citizens. So there you go. Yeah, I want to say the train show that I went to, it was in Jefferson, Texas. That was the one that Flying Crow invited me down to. That one there had a huge in-scale selection. Junior soaked it up. Like, he bought several $100s worth of stuff. And I came out of there with like 2 boxcars. So much better eyesight than you, and you're still doing in scale, huh? Oh man, I'll tell you, the only reason why I would not go with the in scale is these fat sausage fingers here does not like to work on trying to build kits and stuff, and I'm not good with like using tweezers to piece stuff together. But I could have a killer layout if I did in scale, and I mean a killer layout. So yeah, it's got its pros and cons. Hey, Colin Wykes is here. What's going on, Colin? So, but yeah, last year, so we had 88 vendors last year at the Central Arkansas Train Show, and I want to say it was pretty even between stuff for O scale, O gauge as well. So like 3-rail line now. There was a lot of line out stuff. O, HO, and N. It was all pretty even as far as like, stuff to find and stuff to buy. But the year before that, there was hardly any O. It was just mostly HO and N. So it's, every year it's a little different. I know we have several hobby shops from out of state coming in. I know Spring Creek out of Deschler, Nebraska is coming in. There's another hobby shop out of Lincoln, Nebraska coming in as well. A couple out of Ohio, I believe. Cincinnati and Columbus. I believe there's a couple hobby shops from them. Of course, several from Texas, Oklahoma, even Mississippi, Alabama. We've had people from Mobile, Alabama come up. Pensacola, Florida. I mean, it surprises me like how far these vendors will actually drive to participate as a vendor in a train show. So, because in our state, there's only, technically 3 hobby shops, but one of them's hosting it. The other one is a storefront, which is a good friend of mine. And then, of course, you would include me, which is more service and sales anyways. So, the scale that I am rail fanning today is 1-to-1 scale. It is right in front of me, and nothing is happening. But it's right there. Not anything. Actually, take that back. Now I look over and I do see a headlight. So we do have something coming. It is so far away that I cannot tell what it is. Basically, the headlight and the ditch lights right now look like one light. But the last time that happened, the train just stopped right in front of us. And so all we got to see was locomotive. We didn't get to see anything behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera back around. And when it gets a little closer, I'll flip it back. All right, there we go. A little bit of shaky cam going on. All right, Eric, have a good one, buddy. I hope you get to feeling better. I think maybe you're not feeling good. I know you're on dialysis and stuff, so hopefully that goes well for you. I think I missed a couple of people coming in the chat, too. I see Cowboy Steve is in here, so what is going on? And we got Inked Rails in here as well. So y'all are almost in time for a train to come by. And it's getting a little closer. The lights are starting to separate. Let's see here. Russ is saying I sold my entire N-scale collection in 2014. Never will go back because of vision and big hands. I definitely think that is a scale for a younger generation. Just my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, trains. I've been seeing a couple of planes fly over, and if I get too tired, I'll just walk across the tracks and go crash on one of their beds. Maybe take me a nap. Basically, try out a mattress, right? Oh yeah. The furniture, it's on the other side of the tracks, but I'm in a city parking lot, so I can't get in trouble for loitering because this is a public parking lot. Trying to upload a video. Yeah, slow internet's not helpful. And our train is here. I'm thinking this might be a stack train. Kind of turning out to be that way. All right, getting the camera flipped over. Did I get the right one yet? All right, I'm gonna crush the window. Let you get some train horn sound, and it is stacks. So, Heath, I will leave that up to you. I think if I got out there with pom-poms, the suction of the stack cars would probably suck them pom-poms right out of my hand. Then I would definitely get some views that way. That's no lie. No, the train's already here, Kyle. But yeah, talking about N-scale, that's why I didn't go with N-scale. I need my jeweler's headset to work on HO. You might be at the point where you're going to have to go to O. So this one here, they call this the G7. This one comes out of Corpus Christi, Texas, and it is headed to St. Louis. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the new segment on Operation Lifesaver. What happens when a train is going by 70 miles an hour? What happens to the pom-poms? All right. There we go. Well, that was quick. I don't know if we'll have another one or not. And it looks like he was on track number 2, so. Yeah, you just missed a train going by, Lynn. Like, I mean, it just flew by. Yep, no power units. Well, no DPUs and no caboose. Then, let's see, Digger was saying that was cool. 110 trucks and 2 power units. Yep, so that was the G7. Didn't the Mythbusters do something similar with a stroller on a platform? I think they did, and I think it sucked, but that was also a passenger train too. So, yeah, it sucked the stroller in. All right, Kyle, have a good day at work, buddy. We'll see you next. All right, so maybe we'll have another one pop up. Who knows? It's like the Union Pacific schedule. You never know when a train's coming. As soon as they go by, they just make you cry. BNSF covered hopper train come through, 2 engines leading, 1 DPU at the end. Well, that's odd that you see BNSF where you're at. So it's probably a grain train that they loaded up that was headed out east, and instead of cutting power, they just left it on there. I know, like before KCS officially merged with CP and became the CPKC, I went railfanning with a Flying Crow out in western Arkansas, and we actually caught it first in Heavener, Oklahoma, and it was a BNSF coal train. But to be able to get it over Rich Mountain, which is the highest point on the KCS, they had to add some helper locomotives to the back of it. So it had 2 BNSF units on the front, 110 coal cars, then a BNSF unit on the back, with 2 KCS helpers behind. So a good way to know if it is a grain train is covered hoppers either have hatches or portals underneath. Portals is where they hook the vacuum hoses, and so most of the time you will not see grain in those portals. They normally use hatches. Is Robert close to Arkansas, or are you close to Texas? I think Robert's closer to Arkansas than I am to Texas, because it takes about 4.5 hours for me to get to his house, and getting to Texarkana is about 3 hours for me. So he's technically closer to Arkansas than I am to Texas. Lynn is saying, a few weeks ago in San Bernardino, the old Santa Fe depot saw lots of long trains and posted some pics. One had 7 on the head and 2 in the middle. So I know the ZLAMN, which is Union Pacific's a Z train, which is Hot Express. Runs from Los Angeles, California to Marion, Arkansas. It typically has 5 or 6 on the point, and then 2 DPUs in the middle, and then they'll have more DPUs in the middle. And when it gets to Dallas, after the 3rd set of DPUs, they typically cut the back half of the train off, and it stops in Dallas, and then the rest of it continues up from there. Haven't had the chance. I have been so busy. I do have it on my to-do list, but I just not had the chance to look into them yet. But thank you for reminding me. Much appreciated. No lights, no signals, no nothing. So, and I'm only going to be here for about another 15 minutes, because then I got to go back to work. But at least this week is a short work week, because I'm taking off Friday to set up for the train show. So I am excited about that. I am hosting a switching contest, and I hope Aaron, Manshed Railroad, who's got to head out, so take care, Aaron. We'll see you next time. I hope he puts up the $10 entry fee and competes in. Top 3 times will get prizes. So the entry fee is just to help pay for the prizes. Ross is rocking an O. HO trains and stuff. 7 loco wow must have been over 2 miles long in a mountain train. Where is your Sonic? I didn't eat Sonic today. It's Actually, if you can see the building in my back glass, where you're looking at the back side of the building, and then the street on the other side of it, right across the street, is the Sonic. Yeah, my boss changed that. Oh God, that was May. Changed in May, so I'm back to 5/8. But where I was working 8 to 5 when I was working 5/8, now I'm working 7 to 4. So I do get a little bit more of a afternoon. So I come in an hour earlier than everybody else. So it's what happens when you get a new boss. So she came in and took over in January and changed my schedule. So it happens. It is what it is. Massive NS coal train that had 2 engines on the head, 3 DPUs in the middle, and 1 at the end. Must have been flipping heavy. Wow, I've never seen a train with 3 DPUs in the middle. I've always seen 1 or 2, but never 3. Yo, Michael McCarville, what is going on? And yes, thank you for reminding everyone to smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, fill in the bell, and you'll be notified when I come back out here and do another Lunchtime Railfanning. I am a network admin for a public library system. That's what I do. And I really like the 410s because I was coming in 2 hours earlier than everybody. And so if I needed to do updates or fix things, sometimes I could do it 3 hours before we open to the public and be able to get those fixed. And then I didn't have to try to work around people. Now I come in an hour before everybody else and I'm there 2 hours before we open to the public. I've got 4 locations spread out across a whole county. So sometimes my drives are like 45 minutes one way. So if I got to go to say my furthest location, 45-minute drive, well, instead of coming into the office, I'll just leave from the house, clock in through my phone, go straight down there and get stuff fixed. Well, by the time that I do that now, everybody's starting to come in. So it is what it is. And Dwight just came out of Aldi's, got him some goods, some groceries. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Jawtooth hasn't seen it either. That's interesting. Yeah, I've been following Jawtooth for a while. I don't comment on all of his videos. I'll comment here and there on his. I mean, he's got so many comments that, you know, he ain't got time to respond to everybody. But he's also been he's a YouTuber veteran. Like he's been doing it for so long. So, but yeah, anytime he goes on vacation or something, he's always rail fanning something in the area that he's in. So, which is pretty cool. Yeah, still no train. Got one today. That's better than nothing, right? Yeah, he is a hoot. That he is. And sometimes he'll see trains not knowing what they are. Like I saw where he caught one that said Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. It was an ALM. Well, in the we call it Tedder Green because the owner of the Ashley Drury Northern ended up selling those locomotives to the ALM. So all they did was took off Ashley Drury Northern and put ALM on it, took off the ADNN logo on the nose, and put the ALM logo on it. And but we called it Tedder Green because that was a color that Russell Tedder who was the president of the Ashley Drew Northern. That's what he painted his locomotives. It's very similar to like a Burlington Northern green. It's just like a shade off. So, but I remember Jawtooth catching that one. He didn't know what it was, and I had to explain it to him in a comment. So, Michael says my wife has started finishing my sentences with train and model subject matter. I call her a train nerd now. There you go. I would like to prototype CE and I's engines, and he has a ton of video on them. Need to try and catch them myself, but that is a haul for me. Yeah, I could believe that. Yo, Rodney, hot rod, Rodney 25, man, long time no see. How you been doing, bud? Hope you've been doing good. Hope you all been doing good. I know after this weekend, when the train show's over with, I'll probably be doing a lot better because my anxiety is up there. Just trying to get everything ready, you know. It's one thing to get excited to go to a train show, you know, to go around and see everything there. It's a totally different experience when you're running tables and sharing some of the stuff that you have with people, especially like the signaling system and stuff that I use, LCC. People come in and be like, okay, that's really cool, even though I've got, you know, a layout with a single locomotive and a motorman going back and forth. But the signals are all changing on its own. The switches are all thrown on their own. And then people are like, how in the world did you program all of that, yada, yada, yada? And you just try to share it with people. It gets a little exhausting after a while. And, you know, now I added a switching puzzle contest because they do modeling contests there. But I'm like, model trains is more than just watching a train run in a circle. You got to add some switching in there too. So, Scott Rails, hello, Trainiacs. Welcome. Yeah. So I will have the wife and the kiddo helping me. I'm probably going to put Amanda on the contest table. So all she's got to do is read the rules, show them the setup. It is a switching puzzle. It's it's called the Time Waster 3.0. I think that's what it was called. It's very similar to the Time Saver, but they called it the Time Waster. So it's got a three-way turnout in it. It's also got a single slip in it too. And the three-way and the single slip makes part of the runaround. And so it's 12 inches by 64 inches. So 12 inches by 64-inch long switching puzzle. And there's 8 cars on it and one switching locomotive. So yeah, they're gonna have a fun time trying to do that one. So Rodney is saying life has gotten in the way. Everything bad stuff happens. It happens. It's where we say shit happens, man. I get it. Hopefully things clear up on your end, dude. Yeah. So having a table is a pain. If it's a bad show, you are stuck there for the whole day. So the cool thing about the Central Arkansas show, it's not a bad show. It is busy. So it's a Saturday, Sunday show, and the slow period is Sunday mornings. But soon as noon hits and them church crowds get out, holy crap, is it busy. Now, last year, Saturday was more busy than Sunday, and I think it had to do with the high heat. So people were coming to the train show because it was so hot outside. They didn't want to be outside. They would rather come into this big metal building that has somewhat air conditioning than being out in the heat. So I'm curious to see how this year goes. But the year before, Sunday afternoon was the busiest. Okay, so Dwight is asking Rodney how mom's doing. Better, good, bad days. Okay. Well, I hope your mom gets to doing better, Rodney. Not sure the details on what's going on, but I will keep you and her in my thoughts and prayers, if that's okay with you. Michael is saying, yes, that was what the RPM meet for me a few weeks ago. So pretty boring RPM meet, I guess. We don't have any RPM meets here, which is sad. I wish we did. So mad that Canadian National and CPKC went on strike here. Oh, that means you ain't getting any trains. Just like I look back at the tracks and ain't nothing happening. So for those that are new, I will periodically look in that direction out the back window of my truck because the tracks are straight for like 6-7 miles. And then as it gets into town, where I'm parked at, the tracks have a slight bend and they curve. So where I'm sitting at, I have a straight shot straight down the tracks. On the days that there's not a lot of humidity, normally the winter time, I can actually see 2 sets of signals. So I've got a set of signals that's about a half a mile, 3/4 mile, maybe a mile at the most, down. So I can see if a signal is red, let me know that a train is fixing to come around the bend 7 miles down the track. Or if it goes green, hey, I got a train coming from the other direction because I don't have much of a vantage point coming from the other direction. But on those clear days, I can actually see another set of signals way down the track. So it's like being able to see a whole block. So I'll clearly look. So I can see a headlight in the distance tells me I got a northbound coming. If I see green signals or a yellow or maybe a flashing yellow, then I might possibly have a southbound train coming. So, okay. Yeah, I would definitely keep both of y'all in my thoughts and prayers on that. I know that's probably hard to deal with. So, especially if you're helping, her around the house and whatnot. I know that could be very exhausting. So, we went down to Pine Bluff, Arkansas last night and did a 90th birthday party dinner for my grandpa, who used to work for the railroad. He worked for the Cotton Belt, and he's got dementia real bad that he doesn't even know who I am. The only people he recognizes is his 2 boys and, of course, his wife. And I could tell that my grandmother is wore out trying to take care of him. I mean, she's in her upper 80s too, and she's having to walk around with a cane. So it's crazy. It's like you take my grandpa from here up is not in the best of health, but here down, he's as solid as an ox. And then you take my grandmother, it's the complete opposite. She's all good up in here, but her body is just, it's not in the best shape. So, and I know my dad and my uncle and my brother are helping them out because they're either live down there or they're down there all the time. So, but yeah. So I can understand to a point. Yep. So there you go. See, I see Lynn's got it too. So yeah, Rodney, we'll definitely think about you on that one, buddy, for sure. So, all right, guys. Well, unfortunately, I've got to go back to work, get back in the grind. I got to do extra days worth of work this week because I'm only working 4 days and not 5. And I don't have anybody else to do my job in my absence, so stuff piles up if I don't try to get extra things done. So other than that, I'm going to have to go ahead and cut on out. So please do what Michael is suggesting. Smash that like button, subscribe, fill in the bell. You'll be notified when I come out here. I might do it later this week. Who knows? Hey, we got a train today, so we can't. It's not a total loss. So other than that, y'all be safe out there. God bless and happy railroad. Take care.